In this video, I'm going to explain to you clearly whether you should go down the gears one by one for the test or skip from fourth to second. And I'll also be giving you some tips and advice on how to keep the gear changes as smooth as possible. If you would like to learn more about driving, whether you are a beginner, somebody preparing for a test, or a full licensed driver looking to keep updated, then hit that subscribe button and don't be afraid to tickle the bell notification where you can be notified whenever I upload a new video. If you would like to support my YouTube channel, you can do so by making a voluntary donation by PayPal. My aim is to keep these videos freely available to you and the people following after you. That means no memberships, no subscriptions, no stupid usernames or passwords or any of that kind of crap. Just high quality driving lesson videos, free and easily accessible. If you like the sound of what I just said, then consider making a voluntary donation by PayPal. Links will be in the description and in the first pinned comment. And I thank you in advance. Okay, so let's get back to the real reason why you're here. Should you skip a gear or should you go down one by one? The honest answer is, it doesn't really matter which one you do, as long as you do it at the right time and keep the gear changes smooth. If I had to pick one, probably going from fourth to second is slightly better because it's considered to be a little bit more environmentally friendly because it puts less wear on your car. But really, it doesn't matter as long as you keep it smooth. Now, if you look at this video here, I'm coming down a hill here. Now, if I go down to second gear too far away around here, say, if I go down to second gear at this stage, the car is not ready for second gear because it hasn't slowed down enough. What's going to happen then is, if I go to second gear here, the car is going to jump once I come off the clutch, and that's going to show the tester that I wasn't planning ahead and that I have poor control over my gears and clutch. What I need to do is I need to wait until I get further down, say about 25 meters approximately, around about here, and that would be a much better time to go down to second gear. So whether I go down one by one coming to this roundabout or whether I skip a gear, it's not really going to make a whole lot of difference. The most important thing is I do it at the right time, and that's what you need to remember. Drop down to second gear at the right time, approximately 25 meters from the line, or from the stop line, or from the roundabout line. I have made another video a while ago on keeping gear changes smooth, using the brake as you're changing down gears. And it's a really good video that you will get a lot of benefit out of. So you may see a link pop up on the screen here. There'll also be a link in the description. So make sure you watch that video after this because it's going to complement this video quite well. So as I was saying, it doesn't matter hugely whether you go down the gears one by one or skip a gear and go from 4 to 2. For example, let's say the blue car here is taking a left turn coming up here. So if it's, let's say for example, it's fairly flat, the blue car has plenty of time, maybe there's a slight bit of a downhill, but fairly flat overall, just as an example. So what the driver of the blue car could do then is, he'd probably check his mirrors and indicate here, and let's say about 50 meters out, give or take, he might go from fourth to third, and then come off the clutch slowly. And that way you're using the gears to help slow you down, as well as the brake. And that could be just as good as waiting and skipping a gear later on. So anyway, fourth to third there, then kind of proceed on along down, probably just braking slightly as well, or at least have your foot over the brake. And then probably going to be increasing the brake a little bit here as you get close to the junction. So as you're braking, you're then going to go from third to second, and then slowly off the clutch, and then in you go, then make the turn. So sometimes it's nice to go down the gears one by one, as it's more gradual, slightly more gradual anyway, and the fact that you're going down the gears helps slow the car down a little bit in conjunction with the brake. So approaching this roundabout then, I'm going to go down the gears one by one. I'll be going straight. So I'll check my mirrors first. I'm already in fourth gear, braking. So I'll go to third gear roundabout now, and then off the clutch slowly. And then keeping on the brake, about here now, 25 meters out, second gear, and off the clutch slowly. I'm looking to the right then, getting regular looks in, watching the cycle in as well. Everything's okay, and I check my mirrors and indicate left. So that time I went down the gears one by one. I spread out the workload, went from fourth to third, and then third to second, one by one. The other option, of course, is when he's here, same junction, you check his mirrors indicate, don't bother going to third, just gradually slow down, and when you get to a roundabout here, say 25 metres out, give or take 25 metres, just go straight from fourth to second. Don't even go near third gear. Bring the gear stick like up and across and down to second, and then slowly off the clutch, and in you go then. Bob's your mother's brother. Now this time I'm coming down to the same roundabout again. I'm in fourth gear, but this time I'm going to skip from fourth to second. Okay, so I'll check my mirrors again, make sure everything's okay. Now I'm braking continuously, braking, slowing the car down, and again about 25 metres out again, straight to second gear, skipping third gear, off the clutch slowly, getting the looks in, everything's fine. I just check the mirrors, indicate left then. So that time I skipped third gear and I just went from fourth gear to second gear, braking as I was going, because as I was saying, braking makes the whole journey down smoother, slows things down, gives me time to get the looks in. If I'm teaching a beginner how to drive, I'm probably going to instruct them to go down the gears one by one. That's because I want to give the learners experience of using the gear stick and coming off the clutch. And going down the gears one by one means that they're going to be using their clutch and gears more often, therefore getting more practice and therefore honing their skills. Later on then, I'd probably encourage them to skip from fourth to second because it's a little bit more environmentally friendly and it lessens the workload. But there are times when going from fourth to second is quite feasible and quite appropriate. Let's say, for example, you had planned on coming to a junction and you had planned on going down the gears one by one, but perhaps you got distracted or you left it a little bit late to start going down the gears and you just don't have enough time. So if for whatever reason you've left it too late, forget about third. There's no point in putting extra work on yourself. Just skip a gear. So as I was saying, sometimes you might have to go from fourth to second gear as a time-saving method, because I find once or twice, say for example, a learner driver might have got distracted and they might have got a bit flustered, and while they were intending on going down the gears one by one, it didn't really work out like that. So let's say for example, the driver of the blue car is coming down along here, and she's just about to go to third gear. She wants to go down one by one. But as she's thinking about going down to third gear, let's say, this red car kind of speeds up here and maybe kind of comes across her like that. So that means then that her eyes are kind of drawn to the red car, and she still wants to go down to third gear, but she's trying to do it here. And then you see what's happening is you're trying to go to third gear, from fourth gear to third gear, sorry, and then probably said there from third gear to second gear. So there's a lot of work going on in this little area here at the end. So that's why if you forget to go down the gears one by one, if you forget to go from fourth to third, or even fifth to fourth, for example, now you're probably not going to be in fifth on the test very often, but just in general, like outside of the test, if for whatever reason you're distracted and you haven't got down the appropriate gear, say fourth to third, just continue to brake, stay in fourth, continue to brake, and then around about here, say 25-30 metres approximately, just skip third and go straight to second. And it might be just easier to skip a gear there because you got distracted maybe by something happening there, or maybe something pulled out here, or a cyclist, pedestrian come out, whatever like that. So in that case, if you're stuck for time, just forget about third, go straight from fourth to second. So an example where it would definitely be better, I think, to go down the gears one by one would be if you're approaching a junction, let's say like this yield T-junction here. If you're approaching this junction and the majority of the approach to the junction, or definitely the last, say, 30-40 metres here, say, is on the uphill. So just imagine this part here being a fairly steep uphill. In that case, I would not advise the driver of the yellow car, let's say he's coming up to take a right, for example, I would not advise the driver of the yellow car to skip from fourth to second, just in case that during the time that you're in fourth gear and you're about to change to second gear, say, so the latter part, as the hill gets fairly steep, you may find that the car may start to struggle going uphill in fourth gear. So this is one place where I definitely would advise the driver to go down the gears one by one, because I think when you go down the gears one by one, you're better able to handle the challenge of approaching the end of an uphill junction. If I was to go from fourth to second gear here, the car may start to chug or struggle a little bit, and that can be kind of fixed or nullified if you just go down the gears one by one, because third gear might be more suitable for the hill here, and then you might go into second gear here, and you might just find you're able to edge up or approach the line in a better and more efficient way. Here's an example of me now approaching an uphill junction a few days ago. So in this situation, I'm going to be coming up to a junction that's going to be uphill, particularly towards the end. So I'm going to try and go down from 4 to 2, and we might see what happens. So I'm just going to go into fourth gear now, because I'm up around 50 kilometers, a good decent speed. So I'll be going straight at the crossroads up here. Now you can see the way it's uphill, and the danger is if you go from 4 to 2, the car may end up I can feel the car struggling there now. I don't know if you can hear that, but I'm going to go to second now, and then off the clutch. So that's the danger of going down from 4 to 2 on the uphill. It is possible that as the car goes slower on the uphill in fourth gear, it may begin to struggle and labour and give out. And I'm not sure if you could feel that there, or if you could hear that there, but I could certainly feel it as I was coming up on the uphill towards the end of that junction. Next time I'm going to try one by one, and it should be better. So coming to the same junction now, and this time I'm going to be doing it one by one, and I'll probably have a bit more control on the hill then in that case. So I'm in fourth gear now, roughly 47-50k. So again, I'll be going straight at that junction up here, nice and straight. So I'm going to slow down a little bit, and I've gotten down below 30 there now. So to third gear, and then it feels like I've got a bit more of a pull in third gear, and then second gear, and then gently off the clutch. So because I went down one by one that time, I felt that I had a little bit more control there going up the hill in third gear, as opposed to trying going up the hill in fourth gear. So it just felt a little bit better that time, like the car wasn't struggling as much, it wasn't kind of giving out as much there. So that was going down one by one on the uphill. So at the start of the video, I mentioned a different video that I made a number of months ago on more control. But I've also made a second type of video as well on when to change gears. That's definitely worth checking out as well, as it will link in nicely with this video. So I leave a link for that in the description, and you may see a link pop up on screen as well. So let's summarize everything we've learned so far. Firstly, you can go down the gears one by one or skip a gear. Whichever you do is not that important, as long as it's done at the right time. So get the timing right. Keep it smooth by coming off the clutch slowly, and ensure you're braking, especially on the downhill. Braking early and gradually is so important. Avoid coasting. That's keeping the clutch pressed in for a prolonged period of time. And while you can alternate between going down one by one or skipping a gear, it's definitely better to go down one by one when you're going up a hill, as you'll be better able to manage the challenge of climbing the hill towards the end of the junction. It's also best to skip a gear and go from fourth to second if, for whatever reason, you're stuck for time or you've left it too late to go down the gears. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I'd appreciate the support. And let me know in the comments section any other questions you might have, or any queries about gear changes, the clutch, or the driving test in general. I'll do my best to answer all your questions in the comments section. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.